am told there was a time in America when discussing politics was healthy. It was a good way to get another point of view, learn something, maybe even learn some new facts. Unfortunately for my generation, this glob of mayonnaise ruined all that. As we've already discussed, the radicalization of Republican media, the push of the party to become more theocratic. That all started with I got a loaf in my pants Ronald Reagan right here. But then Newt Gingrich added on a political party weaponizing the government. I mean, they tried to impeach a guy for a blowjob. Can you imagine? When this is their current cult of personality leader? And the final stage of this was the Republicans' reaction to the first black president in this country and the hijacking of the Tea Party to help recruit white nationalists, neo-Nazis. Project 2025 is the equivalent of Order 66. The Heritage Foundation, you know, the Koch brothers, these cartoon villains. The Heritage Foundation decided to go all Legion of Doom on us and assemble 80 plus of the most radical right groups, most radical right think tanks. Even Charlie Smallface made the cut. Even this religious zealot isn't too on fringe to contribute to Project 2025. And the manifesto they released is over 1,000 pages long. I mean, Ted Kaczynski would be jealous of this, right? And within these 1,000 pages is a detailed plan on how to disassemble our democratic republic and instill a fascist theocracy in its place. And the thing is, you don't even have to take my word for it. You don't have to be like, oh, this guy's being hysterical. There's 1,000 pages for you. They're out there bragging about this. Over 40,000 people in this government in the first 190 days. They want to replace them with pure ideologues. Before you can even apply to be part of the government, you have to take a purity test. I wish I was joking. Not any kind of skill test, not any kind of engineering test. I mean, why would you need that if you're the head of infrastructure? Not any kind of constitutional law test. Nothing related to the actual job. Just a test to the party. A test to the Republican Party. And Trump already tried this during his first term. He removed Schedule F, which dictates how civil servants are hired and fired. And of course, Joe Biden put it back into place, but it's going to be just as simple to remove again. And what it's going to allow without Schedule F is it's going to allow them to literally, in like the first couple weeks, get rid of 40,000 people in our government. The problem here is we've been right a lot, right? Not just me, but all of us who warned about what was going to happen if you elected this cult of personality leader. Been right pretty much every step of the way. The writing's on the wall. You don't have to be a psychic to see what's going to happen. You don't have to see that within the first 90 days of this crazy plan, we will not be a republic anymore. The entire government will be weaponized to go after political enemies, to go after, I don't know, gays for the religious right to satisfy their bloodlust. It'll be weaponized to go after anyone that's a shade darker than, I don't know, Stephen Miller's dickhead. Oh, that's just his head? That's not the head of his penis? Either way, and anytime you smell this amount of shit, you know there's a turd right around the corner.
It's driven this country into the ground.
He's not talking about taking on the administrative state to help people's lives. He's talking about going after the people that were mean to him. Exactly. He says, oh, I'm going to have the DOJ target Bill Barr because he was mean to me. I'm going to have the DOJ target John Kelly because he turned on me. I'm going to have the DOJ target Jack Smith because he's coming after me. That's all he talks about. He doesn't talk about helping people.
That's not true. That's not true.
But here's my question. You have a MAGA lawyer who likes to come on your podcast, Mike Davis. Here's what he suggested with the top priorities for Trump's Attorney General. 1, fire the deep state executive branch. 2, indict the whole Biden family. 3, deport 10 million people, kids in cages. It will be glorious. 4, detain people at Gitmo. 5, pardon every January 6th defendant. What do you think about that 5-step plan?
I think it's fantastic. We
all
should do
5?
All 5. We're going to start the largest deportation program in history. All 10 million must leave.
Just 15 years ago, the stuff that Stinky Steve is bragging about would have been so distasteful, you would have got kicked off any ticket, no matter how low in this country. It can't be stressed enough how Obama truly broke the dog whistles of the Ronald Reagan party. And the Democrats always running someone to the center, or even a little to the right, compared to the rest of the world, has not helped move the needle.
I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
And yeah, like I said, some of us have been warning about this fascist takeover since 2016. I think I started warning about it as soon as they passed a Patriot Act. So Republicans, as you see, Steve Bannon, they no longer need to hide their intentions, because the intentions are what lure the party. The intentions are what are keeping the base there. Kids in cages, political enemies being thrown in jail. I mean, Trump even throwing in his own attorney general into jail. For what? Because he wouldn't overturn the election results? Because he wouldn't help? And honestly, you don't need to just take it from me. Just listen to the Republicans' nominee for president. Listen to how he talks. Listen to how he speaks now. There's no reason to keep fascism in the shadow. He's putting it up on the big screen. He's copying Adolf Hitler's words. Yeah, that Adolf Hitler. He's copying them verbatim. Here, check it out.
Today, especially in honor of our great veterans on Veterans Day,
How disgusting.
we pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country, that lie and steal and cheat on elections and will do anything possible. They'll do anything, whether legally or illegally, to destroy America and to destroy the American dream. The real threat is not from the radical right. The real threat is from the radical left. And it's growing every day, every single day. The threat from outside forces is far less sinister, dangerous, and grave than the threat from within. Our threat is from within. Because if
Project
you have a
2024
capable,
from within. All right, that's
smart,
enough of this.
tough.
Look, I don't expect your average Republican's knowledge of World War II or Adolf Hitler to extend too far beyond, I don't know what, like Saving Private Ryan. But communist vermin and all these other words that were included in this speech that Trump's been putting together are very intentional. And because he's a C-, D+ student, they're not even echoes of, right? And also, like I said before, you don't really need to mask anymore who they are. So they're direct copies from Hitler's speech. And like I said, 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, this would scare the shit out of everybody in this country. That a presidential candidate is quoting, because he's very much quoting, Adolf Hitler. Profiles and courage. No one expects this woman to stand up to Trump. Right, the head of the RNC, Ronna McDaniel. The whole reason her last name is McDaniel is because in 2016, Donald Trump was referring to her as Mitt Romney's fat cousin. And instead of confronting him on that, she's just like, I'll just change my last name from Romney to McDaniel. Try it now. Who's Mitt Romney's fat cousin now? I'm Ronna McDaniel. Fucking big brain thinking. But just for historical purposes, I don't know what to call this. Let's just look at her concede the entire party over to not only Trump, because Trump is just a piece of this, but she's conceding the entire Republican Party over into fascism.
He says, quote, in honor of our great veterans on Veterans Day, we pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists,
just reading
fascists,
it,
and
what we
radical
just heard.
left
I mean,
thugs
when you
that
read
live like
it,
vermin within the confines of our country, lie, steal, and cheat on elections, and will do anything possible, whether legally or illegally, to destroy America. Are you comfortable with this language coming from the GOP frontrunner?
Again, I am not going to comment on candidates and their campaign messaging. I will say this, I know President Trump supports the veterans, our whole party supports our veterans, and I do think we're at a very serious moment in our country.
Yeah, we are at a serious moment. So how fucking pathetic can you be? Big Ronna McDaniel, Big Ronna Romney, whatever you want to call her. I don't know what the hell she's up to. I know she spends over $100,000 a month in donations on that face of hers. But I don't know if she's putting in office hours or what her end game is. I mean, is her end game really, America's been taken over. We're not a democratic republic anymore. We're a theocratic dictatorship. But hey, my face and skin look great. And this is the worst part of Project 2025, Order 66, is that it doesn't need Trump. And Big Rona here, she's not even conceding the words, right? She's not even saying the words are wrong. This is not how the party wants to be viewed. Because this is the party now. If Trump wins or loses, this still keeps going forward. It actually probably works better without him. Because who needs this bumbling dumbass out there telling everyone the plans? Donald Trump already served Steve Bannon's purpose. He already served the purpose of the white nationalist radical right groups in that party. He ushered in, he popularized, he mainstreamed neo-Nazis, white nationalists. And that new base is going to be there to prop up the fascism post-takeover. I mean, we saw this back in the day with Putin, right? When he took over. We've seen it more recently in Hungary. This isn't new what they're doing. It's just new to America. And it's new that the head of the political party that's doing it is too cowardice to say anything about it. This is the base that'll make up the stormtroopers. I'm not talking about the Star Wars stormtroopers. I'm talking about OG stormtroopers. And if there's one thing I know about this Republican Party from the last 30 to 40 years, they will go right along with this. No matter how bad it gets, right? Because this is a weak-minded party. We've seen that. They've been so programmed. It's so easy to program them. They live in this bubble, this media bubble. Fox News pisses them off. If that's too much, they go to Newsmax. And if they want more, they go to, America First or whatever the Bible channel is. They don't let the news come to them. They go to where they want to watch the news. They're so inundated that they wear shirts that say, I'd rather be Russian than a Democrat. You know what I mean? Do you even know how low info, how programmed you have to be? How much of a fucking dumbass you have to be mad at a light beer? The way they've been for a year long? So yeah, I'm not too confident we'll have a mass exodus of whatever is left of that fascist party. They'll just join it because they're told to. And that's what makes them the perfect candidates to make up that party. Because that's all they need to get it kicked off. I mean, let's be honest. There's no patriots left in that party. Otherwise, they would have left long before this. And if they did make it to this, they would have left immediately after this. So yeah, I'm not too confident about them standing up for their ideals or their morals. I mean, do Republicans even have any ideology anymore? It just seems like one culture war to the next to keep them distracted from this shit that's actually going on. The stuff that matters. Taking away our democratic republic. Maybe we should get Dylan Mulvaney or whoever it was. I don't care. Maybe we should get them to promote Project 2025. And then the Republicans will start to question it. They'll start to look into it for a full year. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't post much this week, right? And a lot of funny stuff happened this week. I mean, George Santos used campaign funds for an OnlyFans. That's prime. That's prime the Chud Report, Chad the Chud content. That right now feels cheap to talk about. That right now feels cheap to put a video up about. Just because all I can think about, all I can read about, and all I want to warn about is the Republican Party, this radical fascist organization that it is, disemboweling our country, disemboweling our democratic republic. Because as someone who has worked on campaigns both from the local level all the way up to the national level, I have never seen them this organized, this ready to destroy our institutions in the history of me doing it. So I guess the only thing left to do is bring up Project 2025 to your racist uncle on Thanksgiving this next week and see what he has to say about it. Let him go on a rant about it. Maybe that'll wake up some of the peripherals. Some of the Republicans who still think, are in their Bud Light ground war. Because the only hope I see for this is to keep having them talk about it. Keep getting them on TV. Keep playing Trump's Hitler speeches side by side. And if like a majority of this country is like, yeah, this is cool, this is what we want, well, then we're in bigger trouble than just the Republican Party. But I have a sense if people actually knew what these plans were, I have a sense that they're not quite ready to surrender their well-being, their security. Because a fascist takeover is not sunshine and birdies singing. Does Grandpa really want to spend his retirement years going through some kind of faux civil war where his Medicare and Medicaid is being used to fund a police state? I don't think so. And I haven't been too wrong in these last 8 years, but that's all I got. That's all I got for today. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe. The Chud Report.
Hi. That's carrying skills, right? I got some
Project 25.
So, I kept hearing about this thing called
Project 25.
And I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with
Project 25.